Alrighty, we're back and we are getting started on leadership lessons from Uber as it pertains to the Me Too campaign. Yes, this is day 3 of my teaching, and we've been having a really good time. I've gotten some great phone calls. And so I know that this is having a profound effect on some of you. Oops, hold on one second. Let me just type this. Okay, great. So, and that's what I'm here for. I just want to be a blessing and help those of you that are in ministry, that are in a leadership position, so that you can avoid some of these lessons. And so today, talking specifically about Uber. The first day, I talked about why the church should be shaking in her shoes. Yesterday, I talked about why pastors should thank Russell Simmons and Tavis Smiley. And then today I want to talk about leadership lessons. And so I know with a lot of the teaching from the first 2 days, people were asking me, well, like, what are the repercussions and all of that? Well, all of that is coming today. So I hope you got something to take notes with. And okay, good. All righty. That you got something to take notes with, because this is going to be a really good session. So let me just give you the background, the backdrop, as it pertains to Uber. So some of you may not know, but a young lady by the name of Susan Fowler was an employee at Uber, and she wrote a post about Uber's practices and said that they are an extremely sexist company. And so as it relates to the church, I've heard some women say that church is a very sexist place, meaning it is a place that's led by a large percentage of men, and the work is done by a large percentage of women. And so you have to be careful to make sure that there's a healthy environment for women to work in. And so that's kind of what she was saying about Uber. In fact, she said that because of Uber's practices towards women, listen to this, and what she, once she filed her charges, the independent investigation led to, listen to this, you guys, the firing of more than 20 employees, the resignation of the CEO, and then, get this, a restructuring even of some of the board positions, all right? So Susan Fowler is the catalyst for the Me Too campaign as it relates to Uber. So Travis, I want to say his last name right, Kalanick, he was the founder of Uber. And just like a lot of pastors, anytime you give birth to something, right, it is your baby. And it is something that you value. And so you want people to, love and respect and honor your baby just like you. And so you can become very territorial with it. You also can go another direction, which is what Travis did. And he became desperate to make Uber the success that it is, to the point that he was willing to do some illegal things. All right. So, and I'm reading this article. It says that Uber, of course, was charged with having a sexist environment. Then they were hacked. And so all the data that they have from people like me that uses Uber, and like you, if you use Uber, hey there, Lady O'Neill, glad to see you on. Pastor Mays, glad to see you on. Those of us that use Uber, they were hacked. And so all that data was going to be exposed unless they paid a ransom. And instead of reporting that this hack happened, Uber through Travis, the president, CEO, he paid the hackers off. All right. And so that's a data breach, right? And so it is against the law to not report a data breach. So because of his judgment with the sexist environment and the data breach, he was ousted by the investors in Uber. All right. So he paid him off $100,000. Now, one of the reasons why you never want to, sorry about that, you guys. One of the reasons why you never want to pay off somebody is because they'll come back at you again. And then they'll also go to others. And then they'll say, well, XYZ paid me off. So think about that in ministry from a leadership lesson. Anytime, hey there, Sasha, anytime you have someone that alleges they have some information on you, you don't want to do what Uber did. And you don't want to pay them off. You want to address what the situation is, come clean if you need to, so that you can rectify it. All right. So let's talk about the lessons that we've learned from Uber as it relates to their previous leadership style. Number one, the young lady, Susan, when she went to HR to report that, yes, hey, Rhonda, to report that she was being subjected to, advances she didn't want. Specifically, she says that, and I was trying to find it here. She was approached by a manager, listen to this, about an open relationship with his girlfriend and how he was really looking for women to have sex with. She then took that highly inappropriate comment to HR, but was told by HR nothing would be done because he was a high performer. So that's our first lesson. We don't ever want to respond to someone like that. What we have to remember is that everyone is disposable. Oh my goodness, you guys, type that in the comment box, disposable. Everyone is disposable. One monkey does not stop a show. I don't care if your pastor or, leadership, they've been there for 25, 35 years. The fact that they may have to leave because of inappropriate behavior doesn't mean that ministry is going to fall. All right. Everybody is disposable. All right. Never let someone think they've got that much power that they can just run rampant and treat people any kind of way. All right. Number two, our second point that we've learned from Uber is that one bad decision can affect the entire team. So because the president decided to pay off the hackers, once it was discovered, and I'm trying to, let me see here. I want to tell you exactly the people. Here we go. Yes. So the president, of course, was affected. Good. The president was affected. He had to resign. Secondly, the Uber's chief information security officer and deputy general counsel had to leave because they knew they supported the president in that decision. Now, am I saying that they told him this is what you should do? I can't say that. The article doesn't state that. But what it does say that because they were familiar, listen to this, they were familiar with his actions, they too were fired. Yes. So in ministry, you've got to remember that even if you didn't do it, one decision can affect, one bad decision can affect the entire team. Are you willing to go down for somebody's bad decision? Absolutely not. So use wisdom. So one bad decision, everybody type bad decision. Yep. One bad decision can affect the entire team. I was watching on Netflix. I'm a Netflix lover, and I love their original programming. And there's a series that is on there, and it's about the accountant. I think that I don't know if that's the name of it, but the accountant is cleaning dirty money, but his partner doesn't know it. And so the person he's cleaning the dirty money for comes to his office and goes off because he thinks this accountant is stealing from him. And he begins just to shoot up everything and everybody. Just another example of one person's bad decision affecting the entire team. Now, of course, I'm not saying that in ministry your bad decision could get people shot, but I am saying that spiritually you could kill their souls, meaning people may walk away from God, they may walk away from the church, they may walk away from their salvation. And we know we don't want to be the reason why anybody will not spend eternity in heaven. So we've got to make sure that we do not follow Uber's example as it comes to having one leader make a rogue or bad decision. Yes, and then just standing by silently. All right, good stuff. All righty, and then number 3, once the president was fired and they have a new president that has come in, the article states that literally this person's job has been nothing but to just apologize. Everything they do, everything he's trying to implement and move the company forward, he is having to say, I'm sorry, because what was done in the past continues to be brought up in the present. Well, because he wants to be a man of transparency, he's allowing those conversations to happen and he's facing them head on. All right. And so, one of the things that the article said is that he understands that it's just like when you peel off a Band-Aid, you peel it off fast, right? It stings for a minute, but then the pain subsides versus you trying to peel it off. The pain is agonizing when you're trying to peel a Band-Aid off, right? So just pull it off and be done with it. And that's what he is doing as he leads Uber, all right? He's not blaming or playing the blame game. He's saying, listen, this is our truth and we have to deal with it and address it in everything that we're doing. It's the same thing in ministry. Always remember that what you're doing now, that there will always be a price that will have to be paid for it eventually. All right? So you may think you're getting away with something, but when it's exposed, Bernie Madoff, that's another example that comes to mind. He says, I was the only one stealing money. My kids didn't know anything about it. They shouldn't be held accountable for it. Well, of course, people resented their kids and his family because, they were still, trying to live this lavish lifestyle off of the money that he had gotten, illegally. And so it's one thing to think, okay, well, we're not going to be able to have a business that we can live with, but there's still always a cost. He ended up losing one of his sons to suicide. Yeah. So he just thought, okay, the biggest cost we'll pay is we won't have money. No, there's always a cost that you don't know. There's always a price that you're going to pay that you don't know how much it's going to cost you. And so I'm sure he never dreamt that it would make one of his sons so emotionally unstable that he would take his life. So you have to think about that in ministry as well. All right. Your actions. You may have decided to take out, I've heard of stories in church where the pastor took out a second mortgage and the church didn't know it. Well, whenever you try to sell a property, you got to make sure that you sell it for enough to fulfill both mortgages. And so if the church doesn't know that there's a second mortgage, the price that that pastor set didn't cover the second mortgage. So they were going through the process of trying to sell the building. And then, of course, when it came down time to do the paperwork, they realized there's a second mortgage. And so it, of course, wreaked havoc in the ministry. But most importantly, the membership wanted to know, well, where's the second mortgage? Where's the money that was received for the second mortgage? Okay, so there's always a cost to pay beyond the price that you see now. All right, so everybody type in the comment box price. Yes, there's always a price. Or excuse me, type in the comment box cost. There's always a cost for the price you paid for your ways. Yep, when you do things by ill-gotten gain, there's going to be a cost, and you don't know that price. All right, and that price can go generation after generation after generation. And that's what Uber is learning. They're trying to bounce back. Again, the new CEO is full disclosure. Full disclosure isn't always best for everyone because not everybody can handle the weight of what comes with full disclosure. But that's what he's having to do because they want to see Uber exist. All right. They want to see it carry on. All right. So those are my 3 points of learning of what not to do according to Uber's leadership style. All right. So thank God they've got new leadership. They're doing much better. The gentleman's working hard and bouncing back. Yes, it always pays to do right. All right. So tomorrow, I'm excited. I'm going to be on. I've got a message for the ladies. Yes, how to be a woman of wisdom in ministry. So I'm not trying to say that sexual assault and doing wrong is, our fault, but I am saying that we should operate in wisdom. And this applies, of course, in the marketplace. It applies in business. And so in friendships, relationships as well. So join me tomorrow, 12 noon. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much. For those of you that are watching me on Crowdcast, thank you. And please make sure you follow me on Crowdcast. There's a button that you can choose to follow me so that you receive notifications when I am back on. All right. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys. God bless you.